Hello guys, a new year blessings to all of you. It's been a while I haven't posted any video, but some huge projects are coming soon and the videos will be coming soon too. So just without just wasting time, let's get started. Recently I was creating my new desk setup, um, and after creating the whole setup, I realized that I need light because the ceiling lights are not sufficient for me because you already know I like extreme. And as always, I wanted to make this from scrap materials, like which are not used anymore or which are damaged and cannot be used anymore. So I found this old LED bulb which actually runs on 240 volts AC in here, but it doesn't work anymore. So I thought I could power it from some sort of 12 volt supply and use it as my light.
Piece of sh.
So I opened it and tried to power it using my 5 volt power bank, and soon realized that it's not that easy because the LEDs are connected in series, and after a little bit of calculations and tracking the traces in the PCB, I realized that it needs around 36 volts to run. After a little bit of intense research, I found that all of these LEDs have different circuits because each of these LEDs are of different wattage, and according to that the circuits are also different. Because a typical LED generally takes 3 volts to glow, and we also put resistors to save it from drawing more current and frying itself. So according to that concept, I tried to figure out, but I couldn't find any resistors in the PCB. There are slots for the registers, but those slots are blank. And the first thing I did is testing all of these LEDs and check whether they are all right because it doesn't close anymore. But I think that most of the times the power supply is the fault because all of these LEDs, the cheaper one actually uses a capacitor drop circuit to convert the AC to DC and regulate the voltage to a lower voltage to glow these LEDs. The expensive models also uses switching mode power supply using a capacitor to reduce the flickering and whatnot. But what I remembered, this thing is a cheaper model. So I couldn't break through the powering circuit, but I think it is also a capacitor drop circuit, which is actually kind of cheap and also not quite safe. At least how they make these circuits. Otherwise, the capacitor drop circuits are a cheaper alternative for switching mode power supplies for smaller projects. After testing all of these LEDs with my multimeter, I realized that only one LED is not glowing or busted, but all the other LEDs are actually alright. And then I determined the path, and actually I drew that the whole circuit in my notebook so that I can show you how the circuit is. So as you can see, we have this pad that is positive and we have all the LEDs connected in series. If we calculate, each LED will take 3 volts to glow, which is normal. We need 36 volts to glow these LEDs. and which probably will be true that this is also a 36-volt power supply, but I have no access over it and I don't want to access it because it is quite dangerous, because they were exposing high voltage lines, because we never know, these are Chinese models, anything can happen. So as you can see, from normal conception, I think I can pair four of these LEDs and can power them using a 12 volt supply. So I tried that, and so simply we can create this diagram. And I don't think I need any resistor because, well, each of these LEDs are getting around 3 volts, which is quite safe for them, isn't it? Now I just have to group all of these LEDs, and actually I have bypassed this that busted LED with a 220 ohm 0.5 watt resistor. And I think that resistor is a little bit overkill because I've searched online for a forward resistance of an LED, but never got a good result. So I soldered a 220 ohm resistor around the LED. So it's just bypassing the shorted LED, also providing a little bit resistor to the LEDs. I don't think that will affect too much, but still. So I just cut the traces of those LEDs and then connected them in parallel to each other, and you can see the simplified circuit like this in this diagram, and then just soldered them using my beloved hands, because soldering SMD components are quite difficult. So it took a little bit, but I succeeded. For the housing, I thought this thing will produce heat, as the whole thing is mounted in a metal base in the normal LED. And then I have also touched a running bulb and felt it's quite hot. So I thought I have a laying around heatsink from an old CPU cooler, which actually cannot cool the CPU anymore because of its stupid design. I can use that to cool my LED, and obviously later realized that this is the most overkill I have ever built in my entire life. I thought it has a beefy heatsink and also a fan in the top so the LEDs will never heat up. Okay, I know. Don't give dislike for that, okay? I know that is overkill. But I thought it will be nicer, and it will also serve as a base for the LED, and it will also help to mount the whole thing to my table. So I just made this little contraption using wires. As you can see, these are, I think, 2 millimeter copper wires. Anything will work actually. You just need a steep wire or any sort of steep thing which can hold this thing pretty well. I have these copper wires laying around for a while. These are quite tough, so I just use that. And also I have this plate which actually comes with this heatsink, obviously, to mount this thing in a motherboard. So I just use those to screw my wire to the heatsink, and later I drill some holes in my table and mount the whole thing up. And as you can see, it worked quite nicely. As while testing, I realized that you can easily fry your eyeballs with this thing. So wear proper eye protection before testing these things. As you can see, this thing is actually quite bright, and is, according to me, it serves my purpose, and most probably it will serve your purpose too. There are more bigger models of these LED bulbs which you can try. Just you have to figure out the circuit, and then for powering it from a 12 volt supply, you just need to group 4 LEDs because each will get 3 volts. And you know how the light works? 3, 2, 1. See? It's quite nice, isn't it? Without light, with light. Isn't that cool? And after that, soon I realized that this thing never heats up, doesn't even get warm with that beefy heatsink. And the fan is obviously a huge overkill. Anyways, I hope you like this project and my attempt to build something useful from scrap. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe for more and hit that notification bell icon to get notified about my latest uploads. This is Malhar, you are watching Syllabus, and for today I'm signing off.